Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel. So I've got another procrastination video for you guys today, so I'm not gonna do some long intro. I'm gonna just get right into this video. So the next step, before we get to the two steps and verses we're talking about today, let's recap. So we've identified the goal. We have set we've broken up that goal into steps. We've prioritized the order in which we need to do those steps. Okay, and we've created a schedule to do all those things. All right. Now, once you've created that schedule, you've prioritized everything, and you're ready to actually start working on this goal, you need to overcome fear. There's always at least some fear with trying to accomplish something or doing something new. There's always a little bit of fear, even in the most confident or most what's the word I'm looking for? Even in the most we're gonna just stick with most confident person. There's still a little bit of fear in doing something new or trying something or overcoming something. So I'm going to read the verse for you guys, and that verse is 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, which is, God's Spirit doesn't make cowards out of us. The Spirit gives us power, love, and self-control. So when I read that, I get that God didn't make us to be fearful and afraid and scared of doing things. He gave us power, love, and self-control. Believers are not meant to live in that fear that we might have. We might feel it, but we're not supposed to live in it. It's not supposed to keep us from living, from doing what we're called to do, because fear can kind of feel paralyzing sometimes, you know? Like, you can be so afraid to do something, like you're just paralyzed, you're stunned, that like, and you can't move forward. You're stuck where you are. Like, if you're out in the wild and a bear is coming towards you, some people might freeze. Like, you don't know what to do if a bear is approaching you. You know what I mean? Hey, you are, because that's not necessarily a situation a lot of people will be in, but say you're having to do a public speaking related thing, something lots of people deal with a fear of, and you get up there and you are just frozen. I remember a time in high school for me, and I was trying out for the majorette team. Like, that's what I wanted the most. Like, this was the most I had ever like practiced and rehearsed in my head. Like, even in my dream the night before tryouts, like, I had dreamed about this routine and doing it. And so when I got up there to actually do this routine, like, I started, and then at some point I just froze, like a black, like, I couldn't remember the next thing. It felt like I was standing there for forever in front of those like 30 different people. And I remember I looked at my dance teacher and like, can I start over? She's like, no. And I took a deep breath and I finished the routine somehow. I don't know how, but needless to say, I did not make the team. I froze. But you can't let fear paralyze you like that. You have to keep going. That's one thing, even when we were like, and I guess in the clinics before tryouts and learning stuff, they said, the one thing they said is do not stop. Like, you could just make up something. They said just do not stop was the one thing they kept telling us, and that's the one thing I did, is I stopped. But I did end up making it and becoming a major. It was just not that year. So I had to try it again the next year, and I made it. But instead of living in that fear. Be empowered by God's love and sound judgment. Face challenges with courage and clarity, not being controlled by a fearful mindset. I have some stuff that I read, just reading through commentaries and stuff, trying to get ready for this video for you guys today. And I'm just gonna read through some of them. Like one of them focuses on the spirit of fear, and it's referring to the mindset dominated by anxiety and oppression, which is not from God. He doesn't want us to be like he doesn't want us to be overtaken by that fear, by that anxiety. Like, I know, especially now that mental health is more talked about and stuff, like people talk about anxiety and dealing with it. Like, he doesn't want us to live in that. Yes, you might feel it, you might have some anxiety about certain things, but it shouldn't stop you from what you're trying to do, what you're called to do. That's not what God has called us to do. And he's also given us power, and the power represents his strength and ability, and God provides for us to overcome our difficulties. So when we're feeling scared or afraid of something, we can always go to him and call on him. And you might feel like you're in a situation that is just impossible, but those kind of situations God's gonna put you in because he needs the glory, not you. It's not for you to have the glory, it's for him, because the only way you got through it, the only way you were able to do it was through his strength, through his power, and the love that he gives emphasizes the compassion and care that should guide our actions. As believers, we shouldn't be harsh and rash and like mean-spirited, like, to people. You catch a lot more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. That's, the old saying. I haven't tried that myself, but you can't, especially can't bring new believers in. You can't bring people who aren't believers in being like harping at people and like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, like like harping down people's throats and stuff. You're not gonna reach people for Christ that way. Like, and you should remember that, like, your encounter with someone could be that person's first or only encounter with God, and that's not how God is with us or how he was with you. Like, he showed you love. He shows you love as many times as we fall into sin or don't do everything the right way. How can we, now that we're on the other side, when we were the sinner, we wanted grace, we wanted lend a helping hand, lend to be loving towards us, but now that we're on the other side, we want to judge other people? That's not how God works. We need to show them the love that was shown to us. And even if it wasn't shown to you, you should still show it. That is what God's called us to do. To show his love. People should be able to see his love in us. One of the last little things that I read was to embrace the courage that comes from knowing your identity in Christ and act with confidence in your faith. Actually, there's one more thing I'm gonna read that I took notes on. It said, when faced with challenges, remember that God has not given you a spirit of fear, and rely on his power and love to navigate through them. So when you're in the thick of the hard part of accomplishing whatever you're trying to accomplish, that is when you lean on him the most. That is when you pour into yourself with him. That's when you're going to him the most, so that you're able to keep moving forward. You can't pour from an empty cup, so you have to keep refilling. And the second step in conquering procrastination is remembering God's timing. All right? So you got to overcome your fear, and then you got to remember God's timing. And this verse is Ecclesiastes 3, verse 11. And by the way, I'm reading from the Contemporary English Version, and I'm sure I'll have it on the screen somewhere, like up here or something, so that you can see it, read it for yourself, and find it. But Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, God makes everything happen at the right time. Yet none of us can ever fully understand all he has done. And he puts questions in our minds about the past and the future. So, as far as remembering God's timing, I know you can kind of feel like, when is it going to happen? Not even if it's been a while, like years or something. It could be a few months for something, and that you've been working on. And you're like, when is it going to happen? Like, God's timing is perfect. He sees the masterpiece. You're in the masterpiece, so you can't see it because you're in it. So you can't see it from the outside and see the entire picture. So as far as remembering his timing, don't try to rush. Don't take shortcuts. God's works are orderly, harmonious, and beautiful, even in the smallest details. Like, for me, just being with Sean and our marriage, like they're like little things, like his dad and my dad, like growing up being close friends, and now they're like really brothers. They like probably called themselves that growing up because they were so close and hung out all the time. But like now, like their children are married. Me and Sean, like us, Sean and I meeting when we were young. Like, he was 5 and I was 3 at church when his dad was the training pastor at the church I grew up in. Like, just all the little things leading up to us actually being together, like us seeing each other again in college, and not really seeing each other once his dad was done training and got his own church. So us not really seeing each other, just here and there at specific church events and stuff, but seeing each other again in college. And the first time it not working out, we still had some growing to do. But I remember being in college, like praying for my husband, wondering who he is, like asking God, can I just meet him? And I already met him. I just didn't know. But he'd already shown me who he was. But he was still molding him, still working on him. And us as humans, we can't fully understand God's work and what he's doing. And because we can't see the full picture, we get antsy and we're like, God, why is this taking so long? Because he's developing us. He's developing certain things. And one of the last things is focus on your task at hand. Trust God for the future. So take it one step at a time. Focus on what you're doing right now, and keep working towards the future. But that's all for today, you guys, as far as procrastination. So let's review these steps one more time. We've identified what our goal is. We've broken that goal down into steps. We've prioritized what steps need to be done first. We've created a schedule so that we can know when we're doing what. After we've prioritized them, then we've got to overcome our fear, and then we've got to remember God's timing. So I'm gonna see y'all guys next time on the next video about procrastination. I think it's only 2 more left. So we're gonna get through procrastination, overcome procrastination together. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.